Hey guys, welcome to another Knit and Chat. I'm Samantha. I am the knitter and knitwear designer behind the Strikkechick, and this is Kevin. He is the web developer behind the Strikkechick, but he has also picked up knitting. And on these little Knit and Chats, we just have a casual, cozy little conversation with you guys, and we hope you join us in knitting along on a nice Sunday evening / morning, wherever you are in the world. It depends.
You're posting it on a Sunday?
Yes.
Well, maybe first we should get going with some questions.
Yes, we got some questions from you guys last time on the Knit and Chat, so we're just going to start by answering those, and I think Kevin has them memorized.
Oh yeah. So, they're all sort of in chronological order. The first one was sort of how we met.
Yeah.
Sort of how we ended up in Tromsø. What travel we did before. What we're studying here or what we're working with here.
We live in the Norwegian Arctic Circle in a city called Tromsø.
In Tromsø, yeah. And then there were some questions about Tromsø. What we like, what we don't like. And how it compares to the US specifically.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, because I'm from the US and Kevin is from Sweden.
Yeah.
So I guess there's more of a cultural shock for me than there is for him, even though there are some differences between Stockholm and Tromsø. So,
yeah, for sure. There's many.
Yeah. But before we start on the questions, do you want to show people what you're knitting?
Yeah, well, I'm still working on my Swatch, which you might remember from last time. But I will finish it today, and then I will block it and draw up the pattern for my hat.
Yes.
What about you?
I am working on a sweater design that, very early stages, but it's in Cardiff Cashmere, which is the most luxurious yarn I have ever worked with, you guys. It is soft. So soft. It's incredible. Highly recommend. Very pricey, but I recommend it.
It is very soft.
And Kevin is working with Rauma Lamullsgarn, which is a slightly more rustic yarn, but it's a beautiful color. So I think that'll look really nice on you.
The color is amazing. It will be a little itchy, I think.
Yeah.
But we'll see after I block. Maybe it's actually softer than it feels like right now.
Yeah, it gets softer when you block for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could use some of my nice Yucalan wool wash for your hat maybe in the end.
Yeah, I'll do that. So, Sammy.
Yes.
How did we meet?
Okay, so I'll tell my version of the story and then Kevin can tell his version.
I thought they were the same version, but alright.
Yeah, but we might have different filters when we tell it. So the way that we met, we both went to Georgia Tech in Atlanta. I started a year before Kevin did, and I had just come back from a study abroad summer in Galway, Ireland. So it was a lot of fun. I was riding my European summer high. I went to a party the first week back at college. It just happened to be at Kevin's fraternity, which feels so US college to talk about now. It's like, oh, we met at a frat party. But yeah, we met at Kevin's fraternity party. They had like a little inflatable kiddie pool, and we met in the inflatable kiddie pool. I got in there and Kevin was sitting there and we struck up a conversation. And we were pretty much inseparable after that. We pretty immediately. We went on a lot of dates.
Yeah. I think the important part is not that first meeting in the pool.
Yeah.
The important part is like the first couple of weeks after.
Yeah.
Where, like you said, we went on a lot of dates. Your birthday was coming up.
Yeah,
so,
that was our first date.
Yeah, we went out for that.
My 20th birthday.
We went down to Panama City together.
Florida.
Just like a week after we met together. We just went there. And
we spent a weekend at Panama City Beach.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Just on the beach in the hotel.
It was so warm. Yeah. It was lovely.
And, we had so many just conversations late at night.
Yeah.
We couldn't stop talking. I think that was the best part about it.
Yeah.
it was so easy to talk to you, like more so than anyone else, I think.
Aww.
That's why I liked you so much.
Aww. Well, okay, full disclosure, I first liked Kevin because he was European.
Wow.
I told you I was coming off my Europe summer high, and I met this European. I was like, I'll take it.
Well.
But yeah, you were very, I mean, not to stereotype or anything, but at least the guys that I had dated before Kevin were very much kind of, it's the typical college, you know, it's like they have certain gender roles and expectations, guys and girls. Oh,
especially in the south of the US.
Yeah.
That's, I think, even more pronounced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which, I mean, it was a big shock for me, because when we went on these dates that Kevin's talking about, he just naturally expected that we would split the check. And that was kind of, to me, it was like, oh, he doesn't like me very much, does he? Because if he did, he would be diving for the check, because that's what all the southern gentlemen before did. But then it was also really nice, because Kevin was so emotionally supportive, and just, he got really good. I think, you know how it's kind of a thing, guys, where like men will try to fix things and problem solve when you are venting to them, and Kevin got really good at just listening.
Oh, thanks.
Which was really nice.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
There was some miscommunication though at the start. Like, I remember one time I sent you a text like, "Hey, you want to talk?"
No, you said, "Let's have a little talk," and I thought we were breaking up.
Well, I just wanted to talk because I like talking to you.
I know. Oh, I think it was his Scandinavian-ness.
Oh, it worked out fine.
Yes, it did. It worked out great. We're here now.
Yeah.
6.5 years later.
Mm-hmm. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a great little adventure.
So then the next question was, well, how we got here, and I guess that's your school. Well, you got your PhD up here, so that's why we moved here. Yeah. But we always wanted to move to Scandinavia, I guess, and to Norway specifically.
Yeah, we had a lot of discussions about it when we were both in Galway, Ireland before we came to Norway. And
just for school.
For school. I was doing my master's and Kevin was finishing up his bachelor's. And we were trying to find a good kind of middle ground between what we both wanted out of a country to live in, where it was really important to us to have a good social safety net, like healthcare, parental leave, but I also didn't want to compromise on a US salary very much. And Norway really does fit the bill for all those requirements.
All of the important stuff, really.
Yeah. We
like it here a lot. We'll talk about Norway later, I guess.
Yeah, we will.
But so the next question is, well, specifically to you, what's your PhD in?
Yes.
And sort of what do we do? What's our like day job right now?
Yeah. So my PhD is my day job. I work in a thrombosis lab, which is a fancy word for a blood clot. So what I do is I work mostly in the lab, and I am basically like, I look at these patient samples and I run these different tests on them basically to see if there are proteins in there that we can use to predict a VTE when a patient comes into the emergency room, or predict a blood clot when they come into the emergency room, which is really hard actually, because sometimes the symptoms can look a lot like a heart attack or something else, and it's really hard for physicians to tell, is this a blood clot, is this not, without doing a really expensive and time-consuming ultrasound, by which time the patient's symptoms might have gotten really severe. So yeah, that's what my PhD is in, and that's my day job. And Kevin's is...
Well, I'm finishing up my master's, so I got a couple more months there for the MBA. I work in management consulting, so I help businesses make better decisions. I guess is the simplest way to put it.
Yeah. And
make sure they actually follow through on those decisions and implement them in the right way. So it's very varied, but I guess, business is the best explanation for it.
And then you've also got a startup.
Yeah, also running a startup on the side, so pretty busy sometimes. That's marketing, helping marketers market better, more relevant.
Yeah, Kevin taught himself machine learning, you guys.
Yeah.
So all his degrees are in business, but like on the side, he was like, I really want to learn AI. So now he codes.
That's what you gotta do. It's like how you taught yourself knitting just from scratch, right?
Yeah.
If you're interested in something, you just spend time with it and you learn it, and it feels easy after a while, right?
Yeah, and I love that we do that.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of we're really into teaching ourselves different things that we're passionate about, and then...
That's why YouTube is so great. There's so much great stuff on here.
Like us, for example.
Teaching you about
we're not really
travel.
teaching you anything, but...
We're teaching them about Norway.
That's true. Remember what the next question was?
Talk more about Norway in terms of and Tromsø.
Yeah.
What we like here, what we don't like here, and how it compares to the US.
So this is for me, or?
Yeah, I think it's mostly for you, because for me it's so similar to Sweden. You probably have a way more interesting perspective on it.
I mean, I can answer how it compares to the US, but I think we both have pretty unique answers on what we like and don't like about Norway, at least to a certain extent.
That's true.
But I can say what I like about Norway is honestly how safe it feels. And that might just be a Tromsø specific thing, because I'm sure Oslo also feels safe, but this is like a small town kind of safe that you feel up in Tromsø.
It's not so small that you know everyone you meet on the street, but it's small enough that it feels very communal, local.
It does, yeah. I mean, I was joking about this to some friends that we met up with recently, where it's like, the big news story was that a man got a ticket for parking diagonally. And it's like, it just feels so refreshing to read that, and it's like, that's like the evening news. Yeah. It's incredible. So that feels really, really nice. I think more in the summer than the winter, because we're more hiking people than like mountain skiing people. But I love how close we are to the mountains. So it's like we can just pick one and be like, okay, this is half an hour away. Let's drive to this one and hike it, which is incredible, honestly. Just the quality of, like, the air quality is so good, what I think you take for granted after a while, because we really noticed it when we moved here, but now we just kind of don't, really.
Yeah.
And the tap water is incredible.
Yeah.
So things like that are just great about Tromsø, and I know the rest of Europe has been fighting with some high electricity prices, but in Tromsø, because we have our own, what do they call that?
Electricity net.
Yeah, so we haven't really...
We are connected to the other ones, but since we're so far away, it's difficult to transfer electricity over those distances. So we're sort of local in terms of our price.
Yeah, so we haven't seen the kind of dramatic uptick in prices that other people in Europe may have seen, which is really nice. What I don't like about Tromsø... I've never been sick of the winter before, but I am here. We have about 8 months of snow in any given year. It gets a bit much by the end of it.
It's already a bit too much, and we have 2 more months, I think, of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I get so excited when it's like, oh, thank gosh, it's going to be in the positives next week and it's going to rain, and then I'm like, but the snow is just going to come back. Like, oh, it's not over.
Yeah.
So that's kind of sucky. And the food, I think.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Is it's more of a Norway problem, but it's also Tromsø specific. So Norway isn't part of the EU, so we don't get as much variety here, since it's more expensive to import food from the EU. So it's good that we have a lot of locally produced food, but then you lose out on the variety as well. But also specifically Tromsø, since we're so far north, shipping fresh vegetables and food products up here becomes even more difficult. So that limits the variety even more.
Kevin tried to buy a mango in the supermarket the other day, and it was rotten when we brought it home.
Yeah. So that's a little disappointing, but you look forward to traveling even more.
Yeah. Yeah, and how is it different from the US? Well, there's the obvious things, right? Like healthcare and vacation time and those things that I experience at work and just about in my life. So I know that people say a lot that like Europe is very into public transport, biking, walking. It's not really so much of a thing in Tromsø, I think, compared to the rest of Europe.
It's because it's a small city.
It's a small city, and it's also because it's so hilly and snowy and icy. It's just hard. We don't have a train system. We have buses, so that's a little bit less efficient, probably. But I mean, compared to the States, there is certainly much more of an emphasis on public transit and alternate means of getting places. Like people will ski to work, which is very different from the States for sure. Sometimes I miss, like, because also Norway isn't EU and Norway doesn't have anything like Amazon, so sometimes you're very limited in what you can get in terms of like products and things, and that for me, coming from the States where it was like 2-day free delivery, Amazon, whatever you want, that was a bit hard to get accustomed to. I think and then I think it was also just people aren't as talkative here. So you get a lot of small talk in the US. I remember I was mentioning to Kevin when we went to Georgia Tech together and we would take the Stinger shuttle, the little bus that goes around campus. We would say good morning and yell thank you to the bus driver as we were leaving. And it's just those little interactions that you don't really think about, but then you don't have things like that here really. So sometimes I feel a bit lonely just out and about. But it's also nice to not be under some kind of social obligation to talk to strangers all the time. So it's nice and it's not so nice. It depends on my mood, I guess. How is it different than Sweden?
I can only compare it to Stockholm, since that's where I grew up and lived. And I mean, what stands out to me is the small town aspect of it, right? That's the main difference.
Yeah.
But Norway has a lot of unique cultural things to it. I think people are way more outdoorsy here. They love going out, like that is just the norm to go skiing on the weekends and things like that, which is pretty cool. In Sweden it was more of a special thing. You did a couple times a year, travel far away to mountain to ski. Well, here we have them right outside. Yeah. So it's a lot easier. But yeah, I mean, I like it a lot. But I wish the weather was better, and I wish we had more of a spring and more of a fall.
Yeah, we really do miss those transitional seasons.
Yeah, and if it could be a little bit warmer, I wouldn't complain.
Oh, especially in the summer, when we do have like beautiful summer days, they are incredibly nice. I just wish they were more frequent.
Yeah. More frequent and a little shorter winter maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think we covered all of the questions. What should we talk about?
What should we talk about? I mean, do we want to stay in Tromsø? I don't know if that was a question that we answered last time.
I don't know.
What are we planning on? Because like everything we've mentioned, right? Our problems for the most part are the things that we kind of wish were different. They're more Tromsø centric than Norway centric. Because if you look at Stockholm and Oslo and those kinds of places, they do have a nice summer. They're routinely at least 20 degrees Celsius, which I believe is like 70 something Fahrenheit.
They've been getting a lot warmer recently too. 30 plus pretty regularly.
Yeah, but you still have a good winter. Like right now it's still pretty cold in Oslo. So that's what we kind of were considering when we were talking. Once my PhD is over, which is in 2025, then we want to move down to Oslo is the plan. Just to have more seasons, to be closer to family, because Kevin's is in Stockholm and mine is in the States, and it's easier to catch a flight like that.
Yeah, we're big city people at the end of the day.
We are city people, because I'm from DC, he's from Stockholm, so we kind of grew up around that, and we miss just kind of yes, Tromsø is a bit anonymous, but you don't have the same degree of anonymity that you would have in a place like Oslo.
For me, it's the fast pace of things. I'm a very fast paced person. I like when things happen, when they change.
Yeah.
And here it's a little bit slower. Life is a little bit more relaxed.
Which is very nice.
Yeah,
but
it's nice in its own way, but I do miss the fast paced, big city in a way.
Yeah, same.
Sammy?
Yes.
I think I messed up. I need your help.
Give me your side. I ran into a knot in my yarn, so I can't keep going, but I will be here to problem solve.
Okay.
As
well, then
issues arise.
You get to talk.
I get to talk, okay. Yeah, I mean, the other thing that I'm kind of looking... Because, okay, I have a bit of a funny perspective on immigrating to Norway, because I grew up as a kid of immigrants. Both my parents immigrated to the States from India before I was born. And I always, I never really understood when I was growing up why they would seek out expat communities so much, people from their own home. And now that I'm here, I find myself, I'm very interested in, obviously, assimilating into Norwegian culture. I love knitting. I go to Norwegian knitting cafes. I am getting better at skiing. I'm not there yet, but I am getting better at it. But I also really, really miss kind of that same feeling of community that you get when you're around people from your home. So I've been looking at expat groups, US expat groups in Oslo. I'm so excited to move there and do 4th of July barbecues and Thanksgiving and watch the Super Bowl and do all that kind of stuff. Because I've been missing it. I never even used to watch the Super Bowl, and now I'm I have to. It's the food.
Yeah, I like the food, but I really do not miss watching American football. No. It is one of the most boring things there are in the universe.
No, but the whole thing about football, it isn't the game, it's the culture around the game.
It's the barbecuing, right?
I'm sure,
and the singing the songs.
For some people it's also the game, but
meeting
for me,
up with people, yeah. I gotta.
Yeah. And it's just at every stage of football, because you grow up with it being so central in your life. High school football, I was one of the color guard people, so it was a whole band thing whenever the team was playing. And then in college, it's you dress up in your pearls and the guys wear suits, and you just yeah, it's a fun time.
It's a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's honestly the coolest thing about the US is the holidays. And because you have so many and they're so different. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, then you have 4th of July, and all these smaller ones Super Bowl, for instance,
which aren't really a holiday, but
but they're celebrated still, right? You get together with people.
And for Easter, usually someone will organize an Easter egg hunt for the kids, and in the fall, US fall culture, I haven't found anything distinctly fall, I guess, unless you're looking at Oktoberfest in Germany, where it's the whole hay rides and pumpkin picking, and it turns into this whole celebration of the season.
Farmers markets,
oh my gosh,
yeah,
you're making me miss home.
I'm sorry. I miss it too sometimes.
Yeah.
It's too bad we can't just mash up all the things we like from every place we live.
We can though.
Yeah, but yeah, it's the culture and the community too.
Yeah, but that's part of it's interesting to me to hear, because a lot of the people who are my age in Norway now, they didn't grow up with Halloween, but now their kids have Halloween. And so it's kind of interesting as someone who did grow up with it, where it's I don't know, now it's only just really become more of a thing here. So that's kind of fun though, that our kids are going to get to grow up doing the same things I did, even though we've moved countries.
Yeah, for sure. America is very good at exporting their culture.
Yeah.
So of course it's going to be easier to move from the US to here, I think. than like from South Korea to here, for instance, right?
Yeah, it's just you're not going to find as much of your culture kind of integrated with the host culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's a nice little benefit for me.
Mm-hmm. I am on my last row of the Swatch. Are you excited?
Oh yeah. You sure you want to bind off on a purl edge though, or do you want to just knit the purl row and then bind off on your next knit row?
What's the difference?
You're gonna have to purl every single stitch and bind it off on the purl row. It's not really. It doesn't look different. It's just.
Okay, so it's easier if I do another row of pearls.
I think so, but you decide, bud.
Okay, no, I'll do that. That's fine.
Okay.
Right.
Just make sure when you're grabbing your stitch that you're grabbing both the strands. Yeah, like that.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Good job.
Thanks.
I'm just like, how do you create 2 stitches out of 1?
I guess. Oh well, you want to wrap up?
Sure. Yeah. So, I think we were pretty. We went through quite a bit of like our life in Norway and what we do and that kind of stuff. But if you have any more questions or follow up or anything you want us to talk about at all, just drop us a comment and let us know, and we will get to it in the next Knit and Chat.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah. And if you want to find us elsewhere, we are over on Instagram and Ravelry and TikTok as the Strikkechick.
We aren't over
there.
Okay,
I am. It's me, but I also communicate with Kevin. If you have anything for Kevin specifically, it'll also come through those channels as well. And then you can also find me on the website that Kevin built for me, thestrikkechick.com. If you like this video, just give it a like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot. And until next time, you guys.
Happy knitting.
Bye.